You've got to be the change you want to see. You have to be that change. You can't complain about it. You can complain about it, but you can't just complain about it. You've got to be the change. And right now, a man who does it all the time, that seems to be his life's work, Christopher 2X, joining me today. I thank you for joining me. And with you right now, well, you're dealing with an awful lot, but you know, we're still in the midst of the pandemic and people are protesting. I've heard people say, it's not real. COVID-19 is not real. We're used to seeing you a little bit of everywhere. And my producer had even said, you know, I have not seen Christopher lately. Your daughter, 25-year-old daughter, is just recovering from COVID-19.
That's very factually true, Dawne. She's doing way better, and we've been supporting her, of course, and helping her with the kids, and it's real, and I'm glad you're pointing out how real it is.
Yeah, we just need everybody to know, have your mask on, you know, if you can, and keep 6 feet apart as much as you can. So we're going to go to the phone and start the phone calls, and then we're going to talk about everything that you are trying to do. We can't talk about everything that you're trying to do. We'll be here for 8 years. But some of the things that you're trying to do, we're going to start with Betty, who's on the phone today. Let me say before we get Betty on, all of us need to be respectful. I don't want to hear hate speech, and if we do, we will cut you off. So I'm letting you know that, so don't be mad if you start saying awful things and we cut you off. Betty, what's on your mind today?
Good afternoon. What is on my mind is I saw a segment 2 days ago about a group that was picketing in Middletown, and it was peaceful, and this policeman took this man, who was a pastor, I believe, down to the ground. And I couldn't understand it because I didn't see the very beginning. But can you please tell me about that? Can you explain it to me? I'd appreciate it.
Well, let me do the best that I can. And if Pastor Tim Findley is watching, I hope I do you justice here. They were practicing civil disobedience. They were protesting. They were peaceful. They did not want them there protesting, and they continued down the street. And when they did, they took him, you know, down to the ground there. The only thing I didn't understand, they kept saying, stop resisting, but he never once resisted. He was handcuffed, and pretty much that's what happened. Now, I did talk to him during the break, and I said, well, what happened? The crazy thing for me is this. He is Pastor Tim Findley. He is on the police review board. And when they found out who he was, they, you know, quickly unhooked his handcuffs and gave him water and apologized, and he was able to go. But, you know, not everybody, it doesn't always work out that way. Now, people got very angry at me because they said you didn't point out he was breaking the law. He was breaking the law, that is true. That is called civil disobedience. He was protesting. He was not violent. But I have to say, I know my mom and my dad walked with Martin Luther King down the middle of many streets, and there were times that I got to go with them, maybe 1 or 2 times. And I am grateful, and I thank God for those who walk down the middle of the street so I could make it down the road like anyone else to have my dreams. And so that's what happened, Betty. I hope that answered your question. Any other questions?
That's wonderful. Now I can explain it to my pastor, Pastor Corey Shule. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless you, and thank you so very much. Anything you want to add as we're doing this? I know you work with young people every day. Protest, I've never, you know, really got out there in the front line or anything like this. First off, I need to say, especially even for the officers, because I have officers' friends, we need to stop lumping everybody into one group. All black folks ain't the same, all white folks ain't the same, all police, and I did say ain't, so you can email me on that too. They're not the same. And so we need to stop. And so people, even as groups of African American, don't hate all officers.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, so we need to stop saying, you know, they hate all officers. No, nobody hates all officers. It's the ones in any group. I don't care what it is. In any group, could be media, could be singers, could be an ethnic group that makes it bad for the whole group.
True. I've seen officers and citizens coexist best when they have a common interest, and one of the greatest common interests I see them coexisting for is for the safety of children. And so we've got to do a step-by-step process to coexist better, be co-producers of safety together, and deal with the issues and try to move towards solutions towards the problems in that kind of mindset. I know it's not that easy to get to.
No.
We got children who really want, and young people who want to express themselves in the most aggressive way they can do it, but they can also do it in a peaceful way also, Don.
But we've got to teach them that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hate doesn't just come. I think our hearts come ready to love absolutely anyone that wants to be loved, but that's what happens. Let's go to William, who's on the line. William, what's on your mind?
Good afternoon.
Hi.
My comment is, with the rioting and the protesting, is people like me who go out here and get a brand new job to support their family, and the rioters and the looters, they destroy the business. There's a way to protest, but the rioting, it has to stop, because it's not hurting the community. It's hurting everybody in this world, and it's got to come to an end. I mean, we all bleed the same. We all eat the same. We can be one. It don't matter what color you are. We're human beings on this earth.
William, you know what? You're right, and I think protesters agree with you. So let me point something out to you. Those who are protesting are not the rioters, and I would say 99.9% of the time. A lot of times, what we don't realize, and we're so easily duped as humans, a lot of times, you know, the protesters, they're not the rioters, but a lot of times it's people that come in, and you help me with this, Chris, people that their agenda has nothing to do with what these protests are about. They're going to do, they see this as a perfect opportunity to either make the protests not peaceful or to get what they wanted to get anyway. There's a percentage of people that are going to break the law regardless of their color, and this is a perfect opportunity to do it.
You've seen that over time, Don. You've got young people that are attached to the Breonna Taylor situation and others who've been impacted by these interactions with law enforcement. But when you see college students out there, you see working class out there, and then you see the violence and everything that entails, most of those individuals who really care about safety and really care about children and good quality of life issues, they're not a part of looting and destroying property and trying to hurt individuals.
Yeah, so don't equate the two to be the exact same thing. It's not like that. And for those who are going on Facebook and reading all these crazy messages about who's coming and who's doing what, some people put those there just to get you going and just to fuel your hate. Don't fall for it. We're going to come back, take more phone calls, find out from Christopher 2X what's going on with the next step of what Breonna Taylor's family wants. We'll talk about it.